Hi guys, so recently I uploaded a video called Hero of the Week, and in it our hero was a BBC journalist who held a Tory MP's feet to the fire. Now the BBC has a horrible tendency to invite on people who should be nowhere near a camera. Regular guests who should not be given a platform by the state broadcaster include members of the IEA. Before we get to the rubbish from this organisation, let's see who they actually are. So I want to show you their Wikipedia page. You can see it yourself, and I recommend you check it out and look into a bit more about the IEA. But just the basics, it says here, the Institute of Economic Affairs is a right-wing think tank and a UK registered charity associated with the New Right. The IEA describes itself as an educational research institute, and it says that it seeks to further the dissemination of free market thinking, and that it does so by analysing and expounding the roles of markets in solving economic and social problems. The IEA subscribes to a right-wing and neoliberal worldview and advocates positions based on this ideology, including climate change denial and total privatisation, in effect abolition of the NHS. The IEA is funded by the tobacco industry, although it does not reveal this, and IEA officers have been recorded offering cash for access. And this is just, look, I recommend you read a bit more about them. They're a horrible organization, and it's very sad that the BBC invite these people on to present their point of view and don't actually add this caveat. But it shouldn't be inviting these people on in the first place. Anyway, let's hear what they had to say.
The Conservative government, to their credit, are at least coming up with proposed solutions. They've come up with a solution potentially of having a third country where illegal immigrants are processed.
Where was it? 11 seconds in, and she's already completely beyond the pale here. So, at least the Conservative... So she's a supporter of the Conservative Party, okay. At least the Conservatives are coming up with ideas where illegal immigrants are processed in a third country or in another country. Illegal immigrants are processed. Just think about that for a moment. So what she's attempting to do is she's trying to say that anyone who comes into the country is illegal or is an illegal immigrant. Doesn't matter if you claim asylum, it doesn't matter how you get to the country, you're automatically an illegal immigrant and you're processed. Well, you can't be an illegal immigrant and processed. That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, illegal immigrant is not a real term.
The Labour Party seem to be sort of agreeing, as you said, on the fundamentals, but then absolutely, poo-pooing every solution that comes their way. There's always, they always accuse the government of being heartless or, not caring about migrants and so on. But if
it's not about being heartless. Yes, of course, Priti Patel and people like that are heartless, but it's about respecting international law. Of course, we know, Boris Johnson's government is about breaking international law in very limited and specific ways. But this is about respecting conventions that the UK signed up to as a developed country. UN conventions. I know you would like to tear those up. For what reason, I'm not sure. But the UK has signed up to these conventions. Should it not respect those conventions in the same way that the UK would expect other countries to respect those conventions?
If we're going to tackle this crisis, and it is a crisis, and it's what a lot of people in this country are very angry about, and also...
Sorry to keep interrupting, but the spew of crap coming from this lady. A lot of people are angry. Really? I would love to know. I'd love to see the figures. On a scale of, which are you more angry about? Not being able to pay bills? Not being able to buy food? Concern about your job? Or people coming across in a rubber boat? I'd love to see on the balance there, which are people more concerned about? I know some people are very concerned, not concerned about, children going hungry, not concerned about rising fuel and food prices, not concerned about jobs or anything like this. They are concerned just about people coming across in rubber boats. Generally, these people don't have economic problems. Generally, these people don't care about ordinary British people suffering economically. They're deeply concerned about these things, and the likes of the IEA will continue to feed these people the rhetoric that they want to hear.
Also quite fearful for security reasons. It has to be dealt with, and if that requires an element of harsh tactics that the Labour Party may deem to be harsh, but in fact may change the situation for the better, then that is a good thing.
I think, Emily, you need to understand what our obligations are when we sign up to international treaties.
This is like, an adult speaking to a child. I don't want this. And the adult says, look, please, just calm down, okay? Remember, we have to follow the rules. We signed up to all of these agreements. This is really like, and once again, what is this child doing here? Why is this lady being on the BBC? Why is she there? What does she contribute? And why haven't the BBC explained where she comes from? Because I think that's important.
Everybody who comes across as an asylum seeker is not an illegal immigrant, so they are seeking asylum. We need to have an efficient asylum system in place.
You are an illegal immigrant.
If you cross in a dinghy boat, you are an illegal immigrant. Obviously, this woman does not understand these terms. It is not illegal to claim asylum in the UK. And according to international law, according to UN conventions, it should not be used as a stick or as a punishment or as some sort of restriction upon you. The means by which you get to the UK or to the country where you're claiming asylum. Those are the rules. You can say, look, I don't like the rules, but those are the rules. It doesn't matter how you arrive, and that cannot be used against you.
That is a fact. You may have a claim for asylum, and once you're in this country, it's very, very difficult for the UK government to then deport people.
It's very, very difficult for the UK government to deport people. That's a British problem. That's not the fault of the refugees or asylum seekers. And of course, she's not going to use these terms. She's just going to say illegal immigrants. Of course, once again, illegal immigrants is not a real term.
You can make an asylum case once you're here. That's for sure. But that is an illegal crossing.
If people in those boats are not illegal immigrants, I think you need to understand what we're signed up to. What we've got is a broken asylum system, which after 11 years of...
I wish you'd actually ask her. I wish this is a little bit frustrating with politicians. They will start to go off on a tangent, and I would actually challenge her and say, okay, how should people claim asylum? How should people come here? And she said, well, they should use other methods. And you say, okay, why do you think that people don't arrive by plane? Wouldn't it be much cheaper? Why would somebody spend 2,000 or 3,000 euros or 2,000 or 3,000 pounds traveling from Turkey or traveling from outside the EU into the EU and then arriving in France and then spending more money to get across the channel? Why wouldn't they just come by train? Why wouldn't they just come by plane? Wouldn't that make much sense? Are these people stupid? You can go to the airport, you can buy a ticket for a couple of €100, even less than that. Ryanair, you can. Why don't they? That's what I would ask these idiots and say, why don't they do that? And obviously they would say, oh, I don't know. Because you're not allowed to. We don't allow refugees to use these channels. So they're forced to use other channels. They're forced to pay human traffickers. We created this scenario. We created these problems. And the response is not to make it easier to fix the problem. No, we create more barriers. Instead of trying to fix the problem, we create more problems.
The Conservative government is in a worse state than it ever was, and 1 in 5 claims are dealt with in 6 months.
But as long as
if that is fixed, and you fix the problem of stopping small boats crossing and the trafficking that's going on, then you go a long way to eradicating this problem.
How do you reduce the number of people attempting to make that journey?
You know how you reduce it? By creating safer channels.
As long as our country is a desirable place for people to come, and it's more desirable than France or the rest of Europe for many people, then it will continue to be.
The UK isn't taking half the numbers that France and Germany are taking.
And that's because that is one of the main reasons why this is because once you have stepped foot in the UK shores, it is very, very unlikely that you are going to be.
It's very unlikely now, thanks to people like you who supported Brexit. Brexit has made it more difficult for the UK to return people. Thanks. I wish somebody had said that to her. I would have asked her, Did you vote for Brexit? Yes, yes. Do you support Brexit? Yes, yes. Do you know that it's now more difficult to return people because of Brexit? Or maybe she wouldn't understand that. So once again, I have to criticize the BBC for inviting people like this on. They should be nowhere near a camera. Like, if the BBC are willing to invite on people like Emily Carver from the IEA, why don't they invite me on? I'm just as opinionated as this person, and I probably have just as much understanding of the problem, maybe even a little bit better of an understanding. I'm not an expert. Let me be very clear about this, as you can imagine, but this person should be nowhere near a camera. She's pushing an agenda, and unfortunately the BBC are giving her a platform. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?